The text came at 6:47 in the morning. I was tying my boots for work when my phone lit up. No warning. No conversation. Just one message from my wife. Plans changed. The kids want their biological father on the Europe trip. Mark is coming instead. You're staying home. 8 years of marriage, replaced in one sentence. And the strangest part? I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I just finished tying my boots and realized my life was already over. If you've ever felt invisible in your own relationship, like you were only valued for what you provided, not who you were, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments if loyalty still matters. Because today's story isn't just about divorce. It's about what happens when the person holding everything together finally lets go. The morning, everything became clear. The kitchen was quiet except for the coffee machine clicking like it always did. Same routine, same mug, same early shift ahead of me at the plant. For years, my morning started before everyone else's. Work boots by the door. Lunch packed. Bills paid. Problems handled before they ever became problems. Infrastructure. That's what I'd been. Not husband. Not partner. Infrastructure. Necessary. Invisible. Replaceable. I read her message again while pouring coffee. Still felt unreal. 6 months earlier, I'd sat at that same kitchen table with spreadsheets and calendars, figuring out how to afford the Europe trip she wanted for the kids. Extra shifts. Weekend overtime. No nights out. No new clothes. No vacations for me. I paid for those tickets. All of them. And now I wasn't going. Mark was. Mark, the biological father who drifted in and out of their lives whenever convenient. Mark, who showed up smiling at graduation after years of absence. Mark, who suddenly wanted to bond with his kids on the trip I funded. I checked the bank account. Nearly drained. 3 tickets. $2,000 each. Paid with my card. Her name. The kids' names. And Mark Reynolds listed as passenger. Something inside me didn't break. It settled. Like fog lifting, I texted back 4 words. Have a good trip. Then I called work. Family emergency. And for the first time, I realized the emergency was me. The moment I stopped reacting, people imagine big emotional explosions. Shouting, throwing things, threats. But sometimes clarity arrives quietly. I sat at the table and opened my expense folder. A habit my father drilled into me. Every bill, every receipt, every payment. 8 years. Rent, utilities, insurance, phones, streaming services, subscriptions, 42 monthly expenses. All my name, all paid by me. Alone. My phone buzzed again. Her message. Don't be upset. Mark wants to bond with his kids. You understand, right? Understand? I've been paying their way for years while he floated in when convenient. I stared at the screen, typed responses, deleted them. Then I started making phone calls instead. The credit card company came first. Remove authorized user. No drama. Just administrative. Streaming services next. Shows I never watched. Subscriptions she liked. Canceled. Phone plan. 3 lines. Mine, here's, Claires. Representative warned service would end immediately. I told her to cancel them anyway. Silence filled the apartment after that. The kind of silence that reveals how much noise you tolerated. Insurance agent. Remove her car. Gym membership. Meal kits. Every service that existed because someone else wanted it. Canceled. One by one. Expense list dropped from 42 to 11. All mine. All intentional. Ryan texted. My phone stopped working. What happened? I replied. Plan was under my account. It's closed. You'll need your own. 3 dots. Seriously? Seriously. Then she called. What are you doing? Adjusting expenses. You're being childish. No, I'm being clear. She expected anger, begging, compliance. Instead, she got calm. And calm scares people more than shouting. I opened the closet. Her clothes took up nearly everything. Shoes lined the floor. My side? A handful of shirts. Work pants. 2 jackets. That was it. 8 years. And I barely existed in my own home. I opened the lease. My name. Only mine. I remembered the conversation. Her credit wasn't great. Would I handle it? Of course. That's what husbands do. I called property management. Asked about early termination. 30 days notice. Strong rental market. I signed digitally before hanging up. Something inside me was already gone. Later, her name flashed again. Anger this time. The bank says the account is closed. It is. We're married. Not anymore. Silence. Then panic. Where are we supposed to live when we get back? A year earlier, that question would have broken me. I would have fixed it, worked overtime, sacrificed more. Instead, I said, you chose who you wanted to build memories with. I'm just stepping aside. And into the call. No jilling. No cruelty. Just truth. I slept better that night than I had in years. 2 weeks later, their plane landed. By then, I was gone. Everything I owned fit into 8 boxes and 2 duffel bags. Storage unit. P.O. box in another town. New job lined up. Room rented above a hardware store in Riverside. Nobody there knew my story. To them, I was just another guy starting fresh. Their confusion unfolded online. Ryan posted airport photos. Claire posted about strangers in their apartment. Messages poured in. Calls. Voicemails. Anger turned to fear. Finally, she reached me. Where are we supposed to stay? Not my question anymore. Then she said something that almost made me laugh. Mark left. Again. No explanation. Just disappeared. Exactly like before. The difference this time? I wasn't there to clean up the mess. Riverside was quiet. Predictable. Work, home, sleep. No drama. No walking on eggshells. No feeling like an obligation. People respected silence. Didn't pry. 6 weeks later, legal notice arrived. She wanted housing support. Attorney read my records. Weak case. Dismissed. Later, mediation. She asked for money. My lawyer countered with 0. Settlement reached at 0. Final. The divorce finished quietly. No courtroom scenes. Just signatures. And closure. Months passed. Ryan messaged. Everything falling apart. Mother exhausted. Claire, couch surfing. Could I help? I didn't respond. Claire wrote later. So they didn't think I'd actually leave. That hurt more than anything. They never believed I had limits. She apologized. I told her, you're adults. Choices have consequences. Silence followed. Then her sister called. Called me cold. Said they were struggling. Asked if I cared. I told her the truth. I cared for years. Caring didn't protect me when I stopped being convenient. She hung up. Later, Claire emailed again. Sincere this time. So they finally understood everything I'd done. I replied once. Realizing value after losing something doesn't change the fact you were willing to lose it. And that was the end. The real climax wasn't them struggling. It wasn't court rulings or mediation victories. It was standing by a lake months later, realizing something simple. For 8 years, I confused being needed with being valued. Needed means people rely on what you provide. Valued means they care if you disappear. The morning that text arrived, they showed me the difference. And the moment I accepted it, I stopped being angry, stopped being desperate, stopped negotiating for respect. I chose myself, and that changed everything. Marriage isn't just about love. It's about respect, partnership, appreciation. And sometimes people don't realize what they had until the person carrying the weight puts it down. Walking away isn't always abandonment. Sometimes it's survival. And sometimes the quietest exit speaks louder than any argument ever could. If this story hit close to home, hit like and tell me in the comments. Was he right to walk away? Or should he have stayed and fixed things? And don't forget to subscribe for more real relationship stories where emotions, choices, and consequences collide. Because sometimes the biggest arguments are the ones where nobody raises their voice. And someone simply decides they're done. I never meant to be part of their relationship. That's the part people don't understand. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't suspicious. I wasn't trying to play hero. I was just her friend. Let's call her Emily. We'd known each other for years. College friends who stayed close after graduation. Late night talks. Inside jokes. The kind of friendship where you assume honesty is the baseline. She lived with her boyfriend, Mark. They'd been together almost 4 years. Shared a lease. Shared routines. Shared a life. Mark was kind in a quiet way. Not flashy. Not loud. The type who remembered details and showed up when it mattered. I was friendly with him. Not best friends, but close enough to feel uncomfortable knowing what I knew. Because for months, Emily was cheating. That if you've ever been stuck between loyalty and morality, if you've ever known a truth that could destroy a relationship, or if you've ever wondered whether doing the right thing can still make you the villain. Backhand index pointing right, hit like, subscribe, and stay till the end. Because this is one of the most morally complicated husband-wife debates you'll hear. Now let me tell you how this started. The moment he said he was saving for an engagement ring, my stomach dropped. Because I knew something he didn't. I knew the woman he planned to marry was cheating on him. And in that moment, I had to decide, do I stay loyal to my friend? Or do I save a man from a lie he was about to build his entire life on? Beat. Issues. And now, everything is broken. Last week, Mark mentioned something casually. We were all hanging out. Pizza boxes on the table. A normal night. He smiled in that nervous, hopeful way people do when they're about to reveal a dream. I've been saving, he said, thinking about proposing later this year. I didn't hear the rest. My ears rang. My hands went cold. Emily froze for half a second, then recovered, smiling too brightly. I watched him talk about rings, about forever, about building a life with a woman who was lying to him every day. And suddenly, staying silent felt violent. Emily had explanations for everything. Mark worked too much. Mark didn't surprise her anymore. Mark was comfortable, not exciting. I still love him, she said once. This is just extra. Extra. As if betrayal were a side dish. I asked her how she'd feel if Mark did the same. She laughed. He wouldn't, and there it was. Not trust. Certainty. Certainty that he would never hurt her. And certainty that she could hurt him without consequence. That's when something inside me shifted. At first, it sounded like nothing. A work trip here, a late meeting there. Then one night, over drinks, she pulled out her phone and laughed. Look at this, she said. A text thread. Flirty. Explicit. Definitely not Mark. She told me it was just fun. That it didn't mean anything. That Mark was safe and predictable. I remember the way my chest tightened. I told her she needed to stop. Or come clean. She rolled her eyes. You're being dramatic. And that's how it started. Every time she crossed a line, she minimized it. Every time I objected, she reframed it. Until eventually, the cheating wasn't shocking anymore. It was routine, and that scared me. I didn't confront Emily again. I knew how that would go. Denial, anger, gaslighting. Instead, I gathered proof. Nothing dramatic. Screenshots she'd show me herself. Details only Mark would recognize. Names cropped. Context intact. And then I did the cowardly thing. I sent it anonymously. No message. No explanation. Just truth. And then I waited. It didn't take long. Within hours, Emily was texting nonstop. Someone is lying about me. Mark is acting crazy. This is a setup. The next day, she showed up at my place. Eyes red, voice shaking. They'd had a massive fight. Screaming, crying, accusations. Mark showed her the screenshots. She denied it, until she couldn't. They broke up that night. For years, gone, Emily collapsed. Not quietly, not introspectively. She framed it as the worst betrayal of her life. Someone destroyed everything, she said. I trusted people. I sat there, nodding, my chest burning. She had no idea it was me. She blamed strangers, enemies, jealous people, anyone but herself. And that's when the guilt hit. Hard. Mark never reached out. That hurt more than I expected. Not because I wanted credit, but because his absence made it real. This wasn't abstract. This was a human being sitting alone in an empty apartment, questioning everything. And I'd pulled a trigger that I couldn't eat. Couldn't focus. I replayed every moment. Had I overstepped? Should I have stayed out of it? I didn't just expose cheating. I detonated a life. Their home. Their plans. Our friendship. Was being right worth this much destruction? Emily stopped eating. Stopped sleeping. Stopped pretending. She cried about Mark, but never about what she'd done. She talked about being exposed. Humiliated. Abandoned. Not about lying. Not about risking his future. That's when the anger crept in. Quiet. Controlled. A week later, I ran into Mark by chance. He looked different. Thinner. Older. Quieter. He didn't know it was me. But he said something I'll never forget. I'm glad I found out before I proposed, he said. It hurts, but at least it's honest. That sentence broke something open in me. There were moments I almost confessed. Moments I wanted to scream. I tried to stop you. I beg you to come clean. You did this. But I didn't. Because confession wouldn't heal anything. It would just shift the pain. Was I loyal? No. Was I honest? Yes. Did I protect someone? Also yes. Did I destroy something? Absolutely. But maybe what I destroyed was already broken. I didn't create the betrayal. I just stopped protecting it. Emily still doesn't know it was me. Maybe she never will. Sometimes I think about telling her. Then I remember. Accountability doesn't always need a confession. Sometimes consequences speak louder. There's a myth that staying silent is neutral. It isn't. Silence almost always sides with a lie. Emily lost a boyfriend. I lost a friend. Mark lost a future that wasn't real. Everyone paid. But only one person walked away free from deception. So now I ask you, did I do the right thing? Or did my moral high ground crush everyone involved? Is loyalty owed to friendship or to truth? And if you knew, really knew, would you have stayed quiet? Betrayal doesn't start with cheating. It starts with entitlement, with minimization, with assuming someone else will carry the cost. Truth hurts, but lies ruin lives. And sometimes, doing the right thing still leaves blood on your hands. That if this story made you uncomfortable, good. That's where the real debates live. Back-end index pointing right, tell me in the comments. Was exposing the cheating justified or unforgivable? Thumbs up like if this hit close to home. Bell subscribe for more real Reddit relationship stories. Speech balloon and share your take, because your perspective matters. I'll see you in the comments.